Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Dom Mafia Live, your go-to news source, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. EST and 5:15 p.m. EST. That is right. I will be back at 5:15 today. I had a couple of things in the afternoon the past couple of days, but have no fear, I will be back. Sean McDermott, all right? I'll tell you what. A couple of weeks ago, I made a video saying apology form, question mark. Should Sean McDermott get an apology from everybody that has been calling for his job for the longest time into the offseason? But then again, he turned the gears on. He led the team to a 10-3 record, 10-2 prior to the LA Rams game this past Sunday. And surprisingly enough, man, you go on social media and you still see to this day people saying, damn, fire that man immediately. And I'm not even joking. I honestly think there's probably a small section of Bills Mafia that would be completely fine if they were to wake up this morning and see that Sean McDermott was relieved of his duties as the Buffalo Bills head coach, basically pulling a New York Jets when they fired Saleh at the beginning of the season. And to be honest with you, I kind of think it's silly, right? I kind of think it's silly. Yes, he has his gaffes. Yes, we've lost some heartbreakers in the playoffs. But I feel like it's so easy just to go on ahead and watch how he has coached this team this season, specifically in 2024. And I want to paint a picture, right? Did any of us think that we were going to be 10-3 at this point during the season? Did anyone in here think that we were going to win the AFC East as early as we did? And I feel like a lot of us are saying, oh no, that's coping. We want more, et cetera, et cetera. But here's my thing. I feel like we're so quick to forget the positives that we've seen from this guy simply after just one loss. And I'm not going to sit here and police people on how to fan, right? Because you can fan however you want. If you want to be mad at Sean McDermott, pound the table and say, get your ass on the road, I don't want anything to do with you coaching this organization, then obviously that is on you. But the more that I think about this, I feel that he has still shown some quality growth at the head coach position. And I kind of want to start off based off of what we witnessed on Sunday. Last week or yesterday, when I was previewing this Buffalo Bills and Detroit Lions game, I suggested that I think the Buffalo Bills should run the exact same defensive game plan that they did against the LA Rams. And a lot of you are like, oh my God, Dan, what are you talking about? There's no way. We got absolutely torched. But it took me a while, but I actually busted out the all 22. Like last night, I was just like sitting around my room and I was just like watching the tape from the Rams game this past week. And to be completely honest with you, our secondary was doing their job. They probably had some of the tightest coverage I have ever seen 8 times out of 10. The problem was that we were going up against a quarterback who was putting on an absolute clinic when it came into ball placement. He was throwing the perfect passes. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp were catching them and not dropping a single one. Matthew Stafford, for a reason, is the best quarterback in the NFL against zone coverage, and he absolutely proved it. So I don't think that there was necessarily a problem with the game plan against LA. I just think that this was an offensive anomaly. And we were playing a Hall of Fame quarterback, a future Hall of Fame quarterback, a Super Bowl winning coach, and perhaps two of the most dynamic wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2s in the NFL by itself. It was just a recipe for disaster. So I'm not even going to say that that was specifically the issue here. Now, granted, am I pissed off that they ended up going on ahead and not using a timeout, right? Not spiking the football when they attempted to go with that tush push in the end zone. At the end of the day, it was Joe Brady who called that, right? He was the one that ended up calling that one play that was ultimately ended up failing. But, I mean, here's my thing. I look at Sean McDermott, and I'm going to be that guy that just sort of looks at history from this perspective. I have not seen back-to-back games where this team goes out and they look defensively like absolute dog water 2 weeks in a row. I have not seen it his entire career. I've seen us look like dog water defensively one game, and then typically we go about 7 or 8 games where we completely figure it out. Last time that we gave up more than 30 points 2 games in a row is in 2020, and in particular, we ended up winning that game in general. So I think that people that are kind of starting to come out of the woodwork and say, oh my God, man, like we might as well just start doing mock drafts. We're going to give up on this overall playoff hopes. I just don't agree with that. I just don't agree with that. And I feel like that's kind of half the reason why I wanted to do this overall video and have a conversation. Guys, shout out to everybody in here. 168 of you in here already, 108 of you on YouTube, 60 of you on X. Do me a favor, smash that like button immediately. Hit that thumbs up sign. Subscribe to the channel as well, okay? Because we want 40,000 subscribers by the end of the NFL season. I think that we can make that happen. Ray is coming in saying, Patriots Nation, Forever New England, Patriots, New England Pats, LFG, Roundtable Sports. My guy, what is going on, dude? Proud Pats fan in the chat. Ray, shout out Ray. What is going on? Tie timeout didn't matter as the D could not stop Detroit anyhow. Absolutely. All we needed was one stop, and a lot of the times a perfect game plan doesn't always look so perfect, particularly when your personnel is not executing the way that you need them to. I think it's pretty much like etched in stone what this Buffalo Bills defense is. And this Buffalo Bills defense is quite literally a bend but not break defense that relies on turning the football over. That's essentially what we are. That is the identity that we have owned this overall offseason until we end up getting some pass rush help. Pass rush, in my opinion, has to be the number one issue that we had this previous Sunday. We did not sack, and we barely got to Matthew Stafford. I think we had like 8 pressures total. Obviously, we need to be able to completely up that number, or otherwise we're going to be having some issues. BC is coming in. He's our Rams fan. He's rolling in. He's saying that Buffalo is going to beat the Detroit Lions. I absolutely love that. I was at the game. Bills would have lost no matter what. LFG is coming in. Square is saying, Dan, if Rapp doesn't play, does Hyde or Bishop get the start? So, a couple of things. I want to talk about Taylor Rapp because that dude has hurt 3 of our players so far this year, right? He ended up hurting Rasul Douglas on Sunday. He hurt Taron Johnson at the beginning of the season. And I also want to say that Taylor Rapp was also involved in why Bernard had to sit out a couple of games as well. I love the way that Rapp plays, but for the love of God, can you not address your physicality toward our own players? For the love of God. Here's my thing. Micah Hyde is a free safety. He's not particularly a strong safety. So next up in the depth chart, technically, would be Cole Bishop. I'm not sure if Sean McDermott wants Micah Hyde to play out of position. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case, but I know how this defense operates. I have a really funny feeling that it's going to be Cole Bishop if, for example, that's not the case. I think Micah Hyde may be elevated. Maybe he shares some snaps with Damar Hamlin, but he's a free safety. He's not a strong safety. Next on the depth chart from Taylor Rapp would be Cole Bishop. AFC has 4 Super Bowl winning coaches and 1 participant with a college championship currently. Blair is saying, like I said, it doesn't matter. Just stay ahead of Pittsburgh and hope Kansas City loses, but we still okay. Win 3 games at home, then hope Kansas City gets beat. We play at home, win, go to the Super Bowl, and don't automatically assume that Kansas City is going to make it to the AFC Championship. Just because we end up not getting the 1 seed and we get the 2nd seed, for example, don't think that we could not be hosting the AFC Championship at our home stadium, all right? I honestly think that Kansas City is not even making it to the AFC Championship this year. It is indeed a hot take. However, I have a feeling they do not make the AFC Championship. He took us as far as he could. It's time to change the guard. Facts over feelings is coming on in. Here's the deal, man. He's the kind of guy that if we were to fire him, he would find a job immediately. And I'm not necessarily trying to make you guys feel a different type of way when it comes into the head coach position. I'm just trying to curb your expectations because ownership is not firing him. Even if Sean McDermott goes out there and gets bounced in the wild card round, he's coming back. It's just how ownership operates. Sean McDermott's job was safe the second that he ended up going above 500 this year because he had an insurance policy with all of the players that ended up leaving at the beginning of the season by itself. Say that it was up to fans, I promise we all would want to be pounding the table. But listen, I just kind of want to curb everybody's expectations. This ownership, from what I understand, looks at Sean McDermott the same way that the Pittsburgh Steelers look at Mike Tomlin. right? That's essentially how they view this guy. Whereas okay, he's the best we've had in a very long time. Obviously, Tomlin had a Super Bowl back when I was like a junior in high school, but that's the key difference. But that's kind of where we're at right now. That block punt with the scoop and score might be the difference. But would we have been able to stop that drive anyways? Brett, it's not even so much that, and this is something I think that might be interesting, right? Yes, I do. I think that if that block punt were not to be stopped, okay, I have a feeling that we would have just had a more favorable time on the clock. Because think about it, right? Like we ended up scoring with like about a minute left or something along those lines, right? Um, and then LA got the ball back, and then we scored really, really fast. And then we tried doing an onside kick to come back and win the overall game. It would have completely manipulated the time left on the clock. And who knows, maybe we would have had an opportunity to walk down the field, have a game winning drive after that fact, right? Or we would have had more time where we didn't need to go on ahead and onside kick. That could have very well been the difference between us having like 50 seconds left on the clock for the onside kick attempt. It could have very easily been like, oh my God, we have like 2 minutes, 3 minutes left on the clock afterwards. So it's not even so much would we have stopped that drive in the first place? It's how would it have manipulated how the clock was marching down? Because time management is absolutely everything. I, for one, think that we would have had a more favorable clock during our final and last possession, right? And perhaps would have had one more possession, or the Rams would have had one less. So that's kind of where my thought process is for the most part. Pagula and the players love McDermott. JA17 would want him to stay. We have JC. It has now come out. Y'all can be mad. Belichick chose college football to go against DEI NFL. Needs to learn. JC, yeah, most definitely. We have Bill Belichick, man. He is now the head coach of the UNC Tar Heels. Absolutely insane. Blair, old man Hine is just another Klein. Hyde proved last 4 years he's not it. He's part of the D's downfall all 3 years. We have Sal coming in. If McDermott pulls a serious bonehead move to cost us in the playoffs, all bets off on his return. I mean, dude, I would not bet on anything. Like, he is 110% going to be the Buffalo Bills head coach next year, regardless of the outcome. I'm not trying to say that you were wrong for feeling that way, but I'm just saying you are going to be very disappointed if you think that Sean McDermott is going to be fired next year, because it's not happening. He has already ended up winning yet another year based off of winning the AFC East with all of the adversity that was against us this offseason, right? For a year that was supposed to be the retooling year. It's just not going to happen, right? So the only issue. We have no choice but to trust. What coach out there is a better option besides maybe Ben Johnson, who probably wants a lot more money? A lot of people I talk to are kind of afraid about Ben Johnson, right? Because it doesn't necessarily mean just because you're a solid offensive coordinator doesn't mean that you are a quality head coach. I think a perfect example of that is Arthur Smith, right? Looked absolutely incredible in Tennessee, went over to the Falcons, was fired in 2 years, right? And now he's back to being an offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh, which I think is half of the reason why they're so successful, why I think that Russell Wilson has basically ended up reviving his career for the most part. So a lot of people are worried about Ben Johnson. We don't know how good he is going to be as a head coach, solid offensive coordinator, but we are going to have to see what's up. GM 360, I don't think McDermott likes Kaiir Elam. He does not. He does not. So McDermott is not going anywhere. He does not. Let's get real. We have Ted. McDermott with a fully healthy defense will win us a Super Bowl this year. I'm manifesting it. Tim D said Ben Johnson is not going to be a head coach. We said the same thing about Brian Dable the year right before he ended up being a head coach. Quit hating the Bills. Haven't had a coach for 10 years straight since Levy. Give him a break. And here's the thing, right? I feel like a lot of people also don't understand that there's only been 3 head coaches that have won a Super Bowl for the past 10 years, right? Like, literally, there has only been 10 head coaches that have won the Super Bowl for the past 10 years. It's been Bill Belichick. It has been Reed and Sean McVay one year, right? So what the Buffalo Bills are chasing is just as much as all of the other 28 teams that are absolutely dying to have a Super Bowl victory. And I'm not sure if going on a head coach carousel is necessarily the correct move, if you will, right? Because Sean McDermott would be hired immediately. Like, he wouldn't be a coordinator. Like, dude would be a head coach. I'd say almost immediately, to be honest with you. Yeah, I both love and hate to say it, but why the F would we fire him ever? Who are we going to bring in that is any more successful and knowledgeable about our guys? Josh is in his prime. Why waste it? Tyler H., what up, Dan? And do you think Josh will have to be Superman to beat the Lions? Can McDermott stop this high-power offense off the Lions? I think we can stop or two that can make a difference in this game. Yeah, man, most definitely. I mean, yesterday when I was breaking down this overall matchup, there are a couple of matchups on the Detroit Lions defense that I think that Josh is going to leverage relatively heavily. There is a slot corner by the name of Amik Robertson. He has a 51.3 PFF grade. I have a feeling that Khalil Shakir is about to absolutely own him out of the slot. I think Khalil Shakir is going to have a 100-plus yard game, 9 or 10 receptions. It's just how it is. I also think that Amari Cooper is going to really do well against the rookie corner and Terrion Arnold. So the entire left side of the Buffalo Bills wide receiver weaponry, I think, is going to eat for the most part. Have to watch out for Kirby Joseph. He definitely likes getting his licks in. And then also have to keep in mind at the exact same time, right? That this Lions team, 17 overall pass interference calls. Sorry about that. I was distracted for a second. 17 pass interference calls. So do not be afraid to target anybody because this team is quite regularly shooting themselves in the foot. It's just how it is. Like, these teams are regularly shooting themselves in the foot. So that's kind of something that we need to go on ahead and make happen here, right? And then last but not least, this Lions team also struggles tremendously against running quarterbacks. So I have no faith. I have no faith at all. I have no faith at all that this Buffalo Bills team offense is not going to go out there and absolutely kill it. It's just how it is. Mike McNeely. And the only thing I'm afraid of is the Lions going for it on fourth and the D-line unable to get them off of the field. Well, here's the deal. We actually have the best fourth down offense in the NFL, and they actually have the third. And we're actually pretty good at stopping fourth down conversions as well. Don't let that be difference. The defense got smack around, and they didn't like that. We will be more aggressive and physical this week. Brett is saying, is Branch playing Sunday? I know he got shook up. Go get a lot of PI calls. Absolutely. You have to do this. My dream scenario is that we have McDermott as a defensive coordinator that loves it, and don't leave Brady doesn't leave, and we hire a dude who knows his players. But that's not happening. Absolutely. We have this. Mike Green, he is bad. He will just be in the CFL or USFL and be successful. As an Elam, you'll have 3 years to prove worth as a CB or wide receiver now. As the Iowa white climbing, give me one for me. Interesting. Max Doberman is coming in. Allen will run for 100 yards. He's going to have a damn game. There's no question about it. William, this franchise is committing suicide if McDermott gets fired. Dude has already done magic with the team this year and exceeded my expectations big time. I really don't think anybody's going to be upset. Vito B is saying Bills are in the playoffs. That's all that matters at this point. Hottest team in the playoffs was Super Bowl, regardless of how they are playing now. Sal, Elam saved McDermott. Total embarrassment against a third-string Miami QB in the playoffs with a game-saving pick, but can't play. Okay. Here's the thing, Sal. There are a lot of people who still believe in Kaiir Elam. All right? And let me tell you something. Sean McDermott is not starting him because he just doesn't like him as a person, right? If Kaiir Elam was truly showing something in practice, then he wouldn't have been beaten out by a 6th-round pick in Christian Benford, who is now, top 4 in the league for, PFF pass coverage. That is Kaiir Elam's position right there, 110%. He's still yet to beat out Christian Benford. And Christian Benford is a top 5 corner in the NFL. If Elam was a good corner, we wouldn't have traded for Rasul Douglas last year during the trade deadline, right? If Elam was a good corner, we wouldn't have put Jamarcus Ingram above him in the overall depth chart. I understand people want Elam to be a thing, but we need to understand something. I don't think that he's a bad player. I just think that he is on a team that does not really, he doesn't fit into the Buffalo Bills defensive scheme. That's all it is. He just doesn't fit into the Buffalo Bills scheme. He's a man coverage guy. We don't run man coverage. And when he is out there, we tried teaching him overall zone coverage. And this guy is probably one of the most handsy dudes in the face of the planet, which is ideal, but he doesn't know how to get away with it. So he has a lot of issues in drawing penalties, and he just hasn't had an opportunity of being able to transition over to zone. He's a man cover guy. I genuinely believe that we tried to go on ahead and trade him during the trade deadline, but nobody wanted him. I think he still has a pretty good career ahead of him, but it's not going to be in Buffalo. So I would not look at one game specifically, which makes you think that he is going to be putting out that sort of production each and every single game. Clinching a playoff spot is not all that matters. If it does, then we don't deserve a Super Bowl opportunity. Top 2 seed should be our priority for the rest of the season. We have Mott. I say we trade Elam to the 49ers. Who my his type of ball. Look at that, man. Look at that. Then why not trade him? Dude, I mean, so I'm sure we tried. So, I mean, I'm sure we tried to, but I mean, nobody wanted them, right? So nobody wanted them. So I guarantee you that if somebody was willing to send over assets, we would have, or otherwise, like we would have cut him this offseason. And I think the only reason we didn't release him was in hopes that we could trade him and get some sort of assets, but he will be cut next year, in my opinion, especially if this Buffalo Bills team targets a corner in the first round. I hope that we don't. I would much rather a pass rusher, but that's just kind of where we're at. We have Jordan Smith is coming in. Elam probably gets us a 5th round pick back in a trade, maybe, hopefully. Gonzo is great pass man, but gets burned in absolute zone. He's great in press man, but gets burned in zone. Something to think about. We play the Patriots in a couple of weeks. Is there any way to boycott Romo off of the air? I can't stand that guy. Well, Drew D, listen, one thing I can suggest is just go on ahead and make sure you have bell notifications turned on for my YouTube channel, because I give live play-by-play reactions for each and every single game, dude. All right. So say, for example, you want to just rock with me and hear my game-by-game situation. Make it happen. Facts over feelings. Honestly, could he look any worse than Dorian Williams' first 5 games? Game reps mean everything. He didn't even have a chance to fail. Just my opinion. I mean, yeah, dude, listen, man, I wanted him to like be good, right? And we see things in games. Like, that's what we see in games. I'm not sure what McDermott sees like in closed practices, right? Like, I don't think McDermott is just benching him because he doesn't like him, right? I honestly think that like he's showing shit in practice where he's just like, okay, yeah, obviously we think that Benford is better. We think Rasul Douglas is better. We think that Ingram is better, right? It's just kind of how it is. I don't agree, Dan. So Elam is probably the most talent rate in the DB room. He's the only playmaker. The rest of the guys there just cover guys. So with that, and so respectfully, why do you think he's not playing then? So why do you think he's been a healthy scratch for the past couple of weeks, right? And listen, like, so I agree, but I just don't think that he fits in what Sean McDermott wants to do, right? So, like, he basically has, like, a super sick toy, you know what I'm saying? But, like, he just doesn't know how to use it. I'm trying to think of, like, a really good metaphor of how I could put this together, right? It's like we have, like, a stick now. Yeah, I'll think of a metaphor here shortly. So Elam is the fastest, strongest, and most physical corner we have. Problem is McDermott doesn't want to coach him based off of talent, red, white, and Bills. It's like Tua and Flores. Flores didn't want Tua. Yeah, man. I mean, listen. And so again, I am not disagreeing that I don't think Elam has potential and that he is a good corner. I just don't think McDermott wants anything to do with him. He's like, oh, yeah, he's not picking up zone as fast as we wanted him to, so it's not going to work. He is married to his scheme. If his scheme doesn't work, it's crazy. Tony Dow. Wow. I got my ex-girlfriend in the Elam jersey when he was a rookie. LOL. Look at that. You got the last laugh, brother. Look at that, man. You got your ex-girlfriend who you put on the bench a jersey from a guy that is on the bench right now. That is twisted irony, and I love each and every single one thing. Stick shift sports car, but you can't drive stick. Absolutely. Tyler, thank you so much. Perfect metaphor. Kaiir Elam is that you ended up getting a stick shift, but you can't drive stick. That's basically what it is for Sean McDermott. That's basically what it is. Right? Love that. Tyler, thank you. You were going to be on retainer for me for metaphors moving forward because we use quite a few of those over here. Guys, listen, we need to go on ahead and give a couple of shout outs to a couple of the brand partners here today. Number one, shout out to Picasso's Pizza. Look at that. It's Christmas time at Picasso's Pizza. They are mailing pizza to your front doorstep if you are not in Western New York, folks. Simply just go to that yellow button right here, nationwide shipping, links in bio. Use code PARADE for 20% off of all of your orders, folks. And then also at the exact same time, if you are in New York, they have 4 great locations, solid pizza, especially for game day. And for all of you gambling degenerates, I highly recommend you check out Rhythm. Rhythm is my artificial intelligent assistant that handpicks my player prop picks each and every single week for all of the sports books that I regularly use. It has been a success. All right. I have been winning quite a bit of money. And the beautiful thing is that they are giving a 7-day free trial. All right. So absolutely no harm, no foul. If you are a sports gambler, you want to check out what Rhythm has to offer, highly recommend you hit that link in my bio as well. We can go on ahead and make that happen. Let's go ahead and see what's going on in the world of the Buffalo Bills real fast. Let's see what's good here. He is a UFA next year. So women in Miami, not good, can't use a stick. So women in Miami, not good, can't use a stick. Got it. Okay. If Douglas doesn't play, it will probably be Ingram, not Elam. I know. That's basically how these things work out, right? Go Bills. Parker Moore is coming in. We are winning this week. I agree with you, my friend. Just win a Super Bowl, and everyone thought we would miss the playoffs, but we first clinched our division, so got at least 3 seed locked. Just get the best out of the team in the playoffs, get to the Super Bowl. Go Bills. Absolutely. That is my overall thought process as well, Blair. Make it happen. Go to New Orleans. Make it happen. Now, there is a time with every game, shut down receivers with aggressive men, with the defense and Elam not dressing is absolutely ridiculous. Dan, over or under Kaiir, 1,200 yards by the end of the season. He's at 700 right now. He's at 725. He's averaging like 100 per game. So I think he goes slightly under Kaiir. So I'll go on ahead and I will go slightly under 1,200, but I do think that he breaks 1,100 this year. Therese is coming in. We're underdogs this Sunday. Look at that. Bills D versus Rams. Didn't like it. Had to run or a pass call. The way the D-line moves off the ball proved that. It was a wait-and-see type of defense. Bills D versus Rams didn't look like it had a run or a pass call. So the way that the D-line moves off the ball proved that it was a wait-and-see type defense. So, Vito, so I'll be completely honest with you. I think that's really been our identity from the very beginning, right? Is really a wait-and-see sort of situation. I do think that we were committing to the run because out of all of the 29 carries that Kieran Williams had, we held him to 3 yards per carry, which is pretty good. And like that would suggest that we ended up committing to the run and just relying on our DBs to get tight coverage and hopefully make some sort of turnover. The problem is that while we were getting tight coverage, some of the best coverage I have seen from this unit, Matthew Stafford was just putting on an absolute clinic in ball placement, and Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp were just not dropping anything. It was just a recipe for disaster, right? Like certain reps we were watching, like we saw how Matthew Stafford threw that specific football, and it was just perfect ball placement. It's just how it is, right? The good thing is that I think the game plan we ran against LA will work against the Lions. I do. Because Jared Goff is no Matthew Stafford against zone coverage. It's just a fact at this point. So defense needs to win this game for us, long story short. Defense needs to win this game for us. There's no question about that. Am I disappointed in Ed Oliver this year? Vito B is saying, and the reaction defense is a typical McDermott defense. It's bad call after bad call anymore. That is my beef. Chick, Vito B. Look at that. Wondering if Micah Hyde will be playing. We need to stop them from converting fourth downs. They're going to go for it. Dan Campbell scares me. Well, Amy, if they are scared of converting fourth downs, then so they should also be scared of us converting fourth downs, because we are the number one fourth down offense in the NFL, and they are number 3 as far as conversions are concerned. So something to throw out there. All right. Something to throw out there. We are nervous about the Lions offense. I assure you that Lions fans are nervous about the Buffalo Bills offense as well. This game smells of a damn shootout. We already know. We are talking the number 1 offense and number 2 offense in the NFL are going up against each other. Have to stop the run, and Josh Allen better watch out for his knees against Kirby Joseph. He's going to hurdle Kirby Joseph this game. Hot take. You just wait for it. Brent is saying Goff is good enough to shred us. Needs pressure. I'm going to tell you what, Brent. What's ideal is this defensive scheme we run. It's not too friendly to Jared Goff. All right? He's thrown 10 picks so far this season. All 10 have been against zone defense. All 10 of them have been. Pass rush is going to be important. I certainly understand that. But as long as our DBs continue that tight coverage that we have shown, I feel like we should be pretty good. I think one of the receivers is going to go off, right? I think that's going to have to be the case. We're going to have to let somebody hurt us, right? Because this team is absolutely too loaded for us, right? Let's look back at the Kansas City Chiefs game, right? Who was hurting us at the beginning of that game? It was Xavier Worthy, right? Because this Buffalo Bills team did a pretty good job at stopping the run. And we ended up letting Xavier Worthy do whatever the hell that he could. Do whatever the hell that he could on that overall defense. We ran man, surprisingly enough. We're going to have to pick who we are going to allow to burn us. Whether or not that is so with Amon-Ra, or whether or not that is going to be J-Mo. But I think what is most important is we commit to the run. Exact same thing. Let me see what Glenn's got to say. Come on, Glenn. How you doing? Your offense needs to help your defense and run the ball. Cannot let the defense play 40 minutes, and you cannot count on turnovers. Good teams do not turn the ball over. Yeah. So, but the Rams have quite a few. So they also have a lot of pass interference calls. So I'm hoping for it, man. I'm hoping for it. That is going to be huge. Who should we let hurt us with us still winning this game? Blair is saying win or lose, it's going to be close, and they want payback for that Thanksgiving loss. J-Mo, I feel like we need to go on ahead. I feel like we need to go on ahead and just pick somebody that's going to hurt us. That's essentially what the Buffalo Bills need to focus on, right? And something we've done in the past. Like, we need to pick our poison. And I think the poison that we need to pick is J-Mo. Let J-Mo have a day. But shut down that damn run. Because as much as J-Mo might be targeted, Goff is likely going to attempt to spread the ball around, and hopefully that allows him to make some mistakes where he feels a little bit too confident going to him, right? But what we need to choose to stop is the run. Same exact shit we did against LA. If we can hold Montgomery and Gibbs to 3.2, 3.3 yards per carry, that is a success. And actually, here's my thing. If the Buffalo Bills hold Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs to 3.2 yards per carry, 3.3 yards per carry, we win this game. If, for example, these running backs are gashing us for 5 to 6 yards per carry, which I ideally hope is not the case, it's not going to happen, right? That is the key. That is the absolute key. We're going to have Blair coming on in saying slow the run, but them coming down in the box leaves us vulnerable to big plays. But listen, here's the deal, right? We did the exact same thing last week, and our corners actually ended up going out there and just running stupendous coverage. The problem was that Stafford was putting on a clinic in ball placement, but he's no Matthew Stafford against zone. He's no Matthew Stafford. So we just put that out there. Make Goff throw the ball. Absolutely. This Lions team does not throw the football. Not at all. In fact, right now, I think that they're 28th ranked in the league for overall pass attempts. It's not really much of a passing offense. It's a very much smash mouth, run the football, and then with Goff just going on ahead and taking advantage of teams being able to commit, right? Like he doesn't run the football a lot. Or, excuse me, he doesn't throw the football a lot. He never really has a lot of attempts. If we can make Jared Goff throw the football 32 times, we win this game. That's a hot take. Holy shit. Hold on. I got to look at something. I feel like every time I Google Jared Goff, I accidentally type Jared Goof. Jared Goff. Let me see. Let me check out his attempts. $30. Okay. Let me. All right. 35 times he throws the football, we win. And so the Ravens will be gone in the wild card, like every year. You lost last week, so because the Rams had ball control, you allow that game. So you allow that game over. Absolutely. So the time of possession. And shout out to Glenn for giving me a great video idea last week about the 1985 thing. Glenn, from now on, you are going to be shouted out for every one of for every one of the tidbits you give me and I steal and I put on the internet. All right. Now you're going to be getting credit, Glenn. Look at that, dude. Hey, listen, we need to get Glenn a YouTube channel. I feel like we need to get Glenn a YouTube channel. All right. Guys, listen, would you subscribe to Glenn's YouTube channel just to troll him? All right. Look at that, Glenn. I love it. JC. So I'm not a Vikings fan, so I got a soft spot for you Bills fans. Plus, I need y'all to beat the Lions. Sarah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. We have Red, White, and Bills. For the people who are upset at Oliver, he's second on the team in pressure, QB hits, and hurries. Here's the thing. I feel like a lot of people are pissed off at Oliver, right? Because I feel like they look at the box score. If we want to understand what truly makes a defensive line, let me tell you what truly makes a defensive line, and that is a true one-tech defensive tackle. A true one-tech defensive tackle. Unfortunately, Daquan Jones, if anybody's mad at anybody, you should be mad at Daquan Jones for not drawing doubles and not doing his job efficiently. If you're mad at anybody on the defensive line, it shouldn't be at Oliver. It should probably be Daquan Jones. He is the reason, more than likely, why we are not able to get a lot of pass rush. We are not getting home and sacks. It's more of a Daquan Jones problem than it is an Ed Oliver problem. Hence why I think it might even be pretty interesting. It might be pretty interesting for us to really consider looking for like a big defensive tackle, a one-tech in the draft. It's not something Sean McDermott typically likes to do. He likes these undersized guys for some reason. And as Red, White, and Bill says, we run nickel. It is easy to run on a defense like that. That is also for sure. Jones is supposed to be setting table, but dude is absolutely just chilling. Vito, Lions screen game, 2 running backs is what I am most concerned about. Screens are annoying over in Detroit. Screens are very annoying over in Detroit. Let's see. Stop with the excuses. And Oliver and Jones have been disappointments this year. I feel like you're just looking at the box score, Jordan. So no offense. But what's up, Dan? Bills 24-17. Holding the Lions to 17 points, I would be the cockiest person on the face of this planet. if I've ever seen that before. Ed Oliver, 1 sack the whole year is pathetic. After he got the bag, he has been a liability. We have Mott. Dude, y'all pick enemies, man. Like, y'all pick enemies like crazy. It's funny, man. Like, I feel like Bills Mafia takes turns. Like, it's like rotations of like what player we hate. And so what player we just want to run out of town. I mean, almost immediately. It's funny to me. Dan, who is winning the Super Bowl? Tell the truth. Go Bills. It's none other than the Buffalo Bills, bro. It's the Buffalo Bills are winning the damn Super Bowl this year, baby. No. I sincerely hope so. Hey, Dan. So were there no 5 o'clock streams the last 2 days? I have been at work to watch them live, but I didn't see them. Mike All, yes, you were correct. I did not. I ended up going over to the dermatologist, and I had to have a torch burn off something on my arm. So I had an appointment. I'm completely fine. I'm a grown man. But yeah, most definitely. I had a doctor's appointment. Had to burn this bad boy off of my forearm. Had to get some stitches out. Best piece of advice, folks, especially all you pasty white boys out there, wear sunscreen. But yeah, these streams are going to be picked back up today, 5:15 p.m. EST. I sincerely apologize for not being here earlier. Let's see. Oliver got the bag last year and had 9.5 sacks and an all-pro year. He's the best D lineman we got. And y'all don't think an offensive coordinators are saying that we have to key on him. We have Tyler H. saying, question for you, Dad. And are you worried about the development of AJ Epinesa? And do you think Javon Solomon replaces him next season? I want to say that Epinesa was re-signed, but I'm curious to see what the cap implications are. I want to say we have him next year, right? So we have him next year. So base salary, he has no guarantees. So he could potentially be a roster casualty. He could be a cut pre-June 1st. We could potentially trade the guy if possible. I like Solomon. He's just undersized. And so if y'all are getting upset about undersized linemen, we're just going to have to see. Dan, at what point would you give up on McDermott? Damn. So at what point would I give up on McDermott? I would have to give up on McDermott if like we, so we didn't make the playoffs. Like me. It's like, say, for example, like you were to ask me, like, Dan, like, when would you be pounding the table and say Sean McDermott needs to be canned immediately? He's done. I don't want him anywhere near this organization again. So, like, I would need to see a season where, like, we don't make the playoffs. I feel like that's probably where I would be. I'd probably be there. That, or say, for example, like, we continuously, like, say that we lose 2 wild card playoff rounds back to back to back to back, right? Or like we lose in the divisional again, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I feel like regardless of what happens this year, I would want him back next year. And then if, for example, he doesn't show an AFC championship sort of situation, I'd probably want him gone, right? That's kind of where I'm at. So you think that Jared Goff throws the ball quick in this game? He averages 2.6 seconds. His offensive line, for the most part, has been keeping him relatively healthy. He's been sacked 26 times so far. So I don't know. It's literally going to be like an offensive shootout, folks. Like, we're going to be like watching a game that's like 48 to like, damn, 38. It's going to be crazy. McDermott will be Kyle Shanahan unless he wins a Super Bowl. So need a big one tech in the upcoming draft and a corner. We have RM56. It would have to be a 2-season-long Matt Eberflus type of collapse. I'm pretty sure ownership wants McDermott and Bean when we move into the new stadium in 2026. That would be too late then. We have Eric 2.6 is also hell. We have Maya is saying fans are so spoiled nowadays. We only made the playoffs once McDermott got here, and everyone needs to calm down about him. We have Bella Rose coming in. Goff throwing a few picks to 47 on Sunday. Bella Rose, she's coming in, man. She's saying that Benford's about to have himself a day. Dan the man, I'm always a bit of concern with the defense's lack of size, which is an issue with the run and the short to intermediate passing game, which most of the league's most efficient offenses run. I mean, yeah, dude, it's just kind of like what Sean McDermott does, right? He's had this kind of defense since he's been in the league and quite regularly, like minus a couple of personnel, right? Like, dude has always brought a defense into like the top 10 or top 5 in overall points allowed, right? Like, this Bills defense, surprisingly enough, is still number 6 in the league for points allowed. And so we would have been better, obviously, if LA didn't hang up 40 on us. But for the most part, this team is still pretty damn good at what we do. Like, we're great at adjusting. Yeah, it's just kind of how it is, man. Bills wings. Lions don't really throw the ball, and they depend on running game and screens, quick passes. Defense needs to get it done, Sarah. And the Lions have flaws. Just got to play a solid game running the ball and stopping the run. Easier said than done, though. We have Parker coming in the chat saying, it feels like the late game situations and clock management consistently get the better of McDermott. Great coach, but hard to trust in a close game with 2 minutes left. We have Rady is coming in. We'd have 2 Super Bowls if Ed Oliver was Chris Jones. Unfortunately, not everybody can be Chris Jones. You know, I would love that, but here we are. No, we wouldn't. GM is coming in and saying Oliver's numbers are down this year. We have Buffalo wings. McDermott's ass should be fired if we don't make the Super Bowl. Pause. Wow. Law of averages, Oliver is due. We have RM56. People aren't realizing that the Bills have spent 2 first-round picks on Elam, who doesn't fit, and Oliver, who's just all right. Guys, he's second in the team with pressures. He's second in the team with pressures right now, boys. So I know that pressures aren't as sexy as sacks. But, yeah, like, I really don't get the Ed Oliver hate. So I feel like y'all are just, like, really, like, looking at the face value box scores of sacks, tackles, etc. His number one priority is going after the quarterback, right? His number one priority is going after the quarterback. He's getting pressure, but it's just taking him too long to get there. And why do you think it's taking him too long? It's because of your one tech defensive tackle is not gobbling up 2 offensive linemen. It's definitely not an Ed Oliver thing. I promise you that. We're not spoiled. How much and do we have so to be grateful for ending a drought? And Allen's almost halfway through his career and not won one Super Bowl appearance. We have Raymond Hyam. What's frustrating is most teams have an offensive coach. We have one of the only defensive coaches in the league, and the defense stinks us this year. Stop wasting Josh Allen. Here's the deal. I can't wait for us to beat the Lions. I can't wait for us to beat the Lions on Sunday because I just want Bills Mafia to smile. And so I want their blood pressure to go down a little bit. And so, guys, like, we're acting like we're 6-6 or 6-7 right now. I don't know. I really don't know. We have Michael Seto. I feel for you, bro. You should be compensated as a therapist after L's talking us off of bridges. I mean, look, like, guys, every single team in the NFL, all right, has a gaff of a game. Every single one of them. All of the elite defenses, elite offenses. Sometimes they go out there and they just don't have a good day. It happens. I look at this defense, and we have held several teams to 10 points. We have held the Kansas City Chiefs to a minuscule amount of points. Same thing with the San Francisco 49ers. Like, I just don't know, right? I understand we want perfection, but it's just not realistic. It's just not realistic. Like, watch any other team in the NFL. Every other team in the NFL has a game like that. It's just how it is, right? It happens. It happens, right? So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just really hope we win. So, yeah. And so I just really hope that we win so the blood pressure of all of you can see a significant downturn for sure. For sure. I love each and every single one of you. I will never tell you how to fan. I am here to be your therapist. We have so the offense had its best day of the year. No one is replicating what the Rams did. Not even the Rams could do that again. We have Go Bills is coming on in. All this fire McDermott, he's terrible, has to stop because it's just BS. It's not like we're 4-9, so quit it. We have JC. Let's see what this is. That's why I think it's going under total. Just seems too good to be true. That's why I think it's going under. Total just seems to be good to true. We have people are acting like the Lions or the Eagles or Ravens. So would let have lost that game to the Ravens. We have LFG. Not concerned. Say that the Lions win this week right in their stadium. Bills can beat them in the Super Bowl. Craig is saying, Dan, just pass out gummies. I'm going to have to pass out some gummies. That or I'm going to have to find like a company to work with. Yeah, that's funny. Dan, you said yesterday that winning by 10 would be what you need to feel good about the playoffs. I would be comfortable with a 1-point win in a high scoring game. I mean, listen, I would be running around my local town naked. And so if we won by 10, I'm just kidding, but maybe not. Maybe I'm not. And so do you think that the Rams will make the playoffs? I have a feeling that they win their division. To be completely honest with you, I'm pretty high on these guys. McDermott is the Mark Jackson of the NFL via Golden State Warriors with talent like Steph Curry. And with MJ took them as far as he could and Kerr got them to the chip. I like that. Don't care about the regular season anymore. It's been about the playoffs for a while now. Yeah, I'm going to start passing out gummies to all my boys. That's for sure. So we can have these little conversations. But all right, guys. So I am going to run some errands real fast. I love each and every single one of you. I will be live for BetUS TV's The Huddle later this afternoon. Please smash that like button, subscribe. We want 40,000 subscribers by the end of the NFL season. I'm giving away that Gregory Rousseau signed jersey on Sunday. I'm announcing the winner during my live game reaction. Looking forward to seeing you guys on BetUS TV's The Huddle. And I will see you here shortly. Peace.